The house stood still, a mausoleum of forgotten days. Dust motes danced in the faint light filtering through the slightly ajar front door, untouched by human hands for what seemed like an eternity. A pile of unopened mail lay scattered on the porch, a testament to lives interrupted, a silence that spoke volumes to the concerned neighbor who finally dialed the police. Officers arrived, expecting a routine wellness check. What they found shattered the mundane, plunging them into a mystery that would grip Hollywood and the nation. Inside, the scene was unsettling, surreal. Gene Hackman, the legendary actor, was slumped near the kitchen, his posture unnatural, his iconic sunglasses resting beside him as if they had slipped from his grasp in his final moments. In the bathroom, Betsy Arakawa lay still amidst a scattering of pills on the counter, the residue of evaporated water leaving a ghostly film in the sink. There was no blood, no sign of forced entry, no indication of a struggle. 2 healthy dogs roamed the house, oblivious to the tragedy, while a third lay lifeless in its crate. The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of decay. The bodies were not fresh. Skin stretched taut over bone, the initial stages of decomposition already underway. The Hackmans had been dead for weeks. The house was a time capsule, preserving the last moments of their lives. Unfinished meals sat hardening on the counters, a macabre still life. The silence was deafening, a stark contrast to the vibrant life that had once pulsed within those walls. The police were left with a chilling question. How could 2 people, one a beloved Hollywood icon, remain undiscovered for so long? The answer lay in the cold, unblinking data of technology. Gene Hackman's pacemaker, a silent guardian of his heart, had recorded its last action, a timestamp that would unlock the secrets of their final days. The investigators delved into the data, confirming a potential date of death, February 17th. The house had been silent for at least 9 days. No calls for help, no visitors, no signs of life. Yet, something didn't add up. Why was Betsy in a separate room when Gene collapsed? Why hadn't she called for help if she was still alive? A sliver of light peeked through the slightly ajar door. Had someone been there before the police arrived? Had the door been deliberately left open? The lab reports offered no definitive answers. No carbon monoxide poisoning, no overdose, no clear cause of death. The mystery deepened, shrouded in a veil of unanswered questions. Then, a crucial piece of evidence surfaced, a digital breadcrumb trail that would change the course of the investigation. Surveillance footage revealed that Gene Hackman's house had been under observation in the weeks leading up to his death. Security cameras captured movement, phone records displayed strange patterns, and GPS data pointed to unusual activity. Someone knew what had happened before the police even arrived. The digital trail led to a shocking revelation: Gene Hackman's daughter, Leslie Ann. The investigation took a sharp turn, focusing on her actions and motives. Her statements didn't align with the evidence. She claimed to have spoken to her father a few weeks before his death, but the phone records told a different story. Financial irregularities emerged, painting a picture of someone with a vested interest in her father's demise. Documents related to Gene Hackman's estate had been altered before his death was even confirmed. Someone was attempting to seize his assets prematurely, a brazen act that raised serious questions about the circumstances surrounding his passing. Was Gene Hackman's death a tragic accident, or was it part of a sinister plot orchestrated long before his body was discovered? The pacemaker data was the key, a digital heartbeat that marked the end of Gene Hackman's life. Investigators meticulously reconstructed the timeline, searching for any signs of life after that fateful date. His phone records were barren, devoid of calls, texts, or internet activity. His financial accounts lay dormant, untouched by human hands. It was as if he had simply vanished from the face of the earth. Security cameras on neighboring properties revealed figures lurking around the perimeter of Hackman's house. A shadow by the door, a car parked for hours on the street. Motion sensors inside the house detected unusual activity at odd hours. Someone was watching, waiting, but their intentions remained shrouded in mystery. The home security system logs revealed a disturbing detail. The doorbell had been repeatedly turned off and on in the days leading up to Hackman's death. No forced entry, no emergency calls, but a clear indication that something was amiss. Hackman's life had been a study in routine. Daily walks with his dogs, collection of mail, paying bills. Then, abruptly, everything stopped. The police scoured his digital footprint, searching for his last words, his last search, his last conversation. Each ended abruptly, without warning or farewell. Cell tower data revealed a ghost signal near Hackman's house. a phone number that bounced between towers, obscuring its origin. The signal appeared the night before his pacemaker recorded its last beat. Someone was there, someone knew what was about to happen. If Hackman had suffered a medical emergency, Betsy should have called for help. But there was no call, no attempt to seek assistance. Why hadn't she left the house? Why hadn't she alerted anyone? Her bank records showed a single, insignificant transaction on February 16th, a fleeting digital echo before the darkness descended. Who had been watching them, waiting for the opportune moment? Detectives sought someone with access to the house, someone with a motive. The surveillance records pointed to a single suspect. They were about to uncover the truth, revealing what she had been hiding all along. Initially, Leslie and Hackman was just a name on a family tree. But the strange timeline, the surveillance, and the pacemaker data all pointed to a deeper connection. When questioned, she claimed to have spoken to her father just weeks before his death, insisting that everything seemed normal. However, the phone records told a different story. There were no calls, no texts, no communication of any kind. Her statements contradicted the hard evidence. Investigators scrutinized her financial records, expecting routine transactions. Instead, they discovered that she had been discussing her father's estate before his death was even publicly known. Legal documents revealed that someone had been tampering with Hackman's will, making significant alterations. The timing was critical. If these changes were made before February 17th, it suggested a premeditated plan. The investigators pressed further, questioning her about the inconsistencies. She became defensive, her answers evasive. She couldn't explain the lack of phone records, the financial transactions, or the meeting with the lawyer to discuss Hackman's estate on the very day his pacemaker stopped working. The timing of her actions raised troubling questions. If she was attempting to seize control of his assets, did she know something about his fate? The investigation expanded beyond Hackman's death, delving into a web of money, fraud, and deception. With each new discovery, the walls closed in. The pieces were falling into place, and the police were on the verge of uncovering a truth that would forever alter the perception of the Hackman family. The autopsy reports offered no immediate answers, instead deepening the mystery surrounding Gene Hackman's death. There were no signs of trauma, no bruises, no broken bones, no defensive wounds. Betsy Arakawa's body presented a similar lack of physical evidence. The initial theory of carbon monoxide poisoning was quickly dismissed. The authorities thoroughly inspected the house, gas lines, and appliances, finding no leaks or any other indication of environmental contamination. With that avenue exhausted, investigators were left with a perplexing question. What caused their deaths if not direct harm or environmental poisoning? The toxicology reports provided little additional clarity. No overdoses, no barbiturates, no apparem toxins. On the surface, their systems appeared clean. However, a closer examination revealed a critical discrepancy. Several medications that should have been present in the house were missing. Gene Hackman had a history of heart problems and required medication to manage his condition. But those prescriptions were nowhere to be found during the police search. It wasn't simply a case of misplaced bottles. If he had run out of medication, there should have been evidence of refills. If he had stopped taking his medication, there should have been leftover pills in the house. Instead, it appeared as though they had been deliberately removed. Investigators began to consider a chilling possibility. What if Hackman's death wasn't caused by something external, but rather by a deliberate act of omission? Perhaps someone had ensured that he never received the medical attention he needed. Death can come in many forms, from direct attack to passive neglect. The autopsy reports hinted at a scenario where someone could have withheld medication, prevented medical assistance, or allowed his condition to deteriorate without intervention.